Hello everyone, welcome to this wonderful session of Ace IELTS. A very warm good evening to one and all present over here. Now come on, be quick and let me know in the comment section that you guys are here. Good evening Tanya ma'am, you make learning enjoyable and I hope your evening is just as delightful. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for this wonderful wish. But kindly do complete the end line, which was as delightful as you're using a simile, so it needs to be completed. Okay? Okay. Now, very good evening, Rahul. I hope you're doing great. Come on. Everyone, be quick. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you all. Please join the session quickly so that we can start. Very good evening, Anjali. I hope you're doing great. And I hope everyone is studying. Right? Now, so today I'm back with another, yes, great. So today I'm back with another very interesting topic. Yes, you're studying great, amazing. Proud of you. Okay. So yesterday, if you remember, we did cyclic chart, right? So yesterday we have already done with the cyclic one. Today I'm back with another most interesting, or you can say another innovative topic. Okay, so today we are going to deal with maps. Okay, and we are going to learn how maps questions are there, how we are going to encounter it. Okay, now let's have a quick look on what are the topics we are going to cover today. Okay, now introduction to map question type, definitely without telling you what exactly the question deals with, I cannot move ahead. So it is something that I'm going to dealing with. So now key points to address maps question. What are the key pointers you need to keep in your mind at the time of addressing these kind of questions? Evaluation question, area of improvement, definitely, as we are here to evaluate the question properly. So now let's move ahead and let us understand what are maps question. Okay, now basically what happens is in writing task 1, you encounter different kind of question here. Okay, so if I talk about writing task 1, you have various kind of questions. So basically we have already dealt with bar graph, right? Also we have dealt with line chart. What else? Pie chart. Now yesterday I told you about the cyclic diagram. Today I'll be telling you about maps. Now what are the other question types that you are going to encounter? Mixed and hybrid you can call. Okay. What's next? Non-cyclic. Or you can call it like flowchart, whatever you feel like calling. So these are the, very good evening Sumit, welcome to this wonderful session. Okay, so basically these are the kind of question that you usually encounter in writing task 1. Okay, let me know if I'm missing on anything. Okay, so far according to me I'm not missing on anything. Now, so basically we have already completed bar graph, line chart, pie chart, cyclic diagram, maps today I'll be doing, and also we have mixed and hybrid question, non-cyclic and flowchart. Okay, so basically these are the kind of question. So in entire kind of a question, so basically the format remains the same. So far whatever I have told you, the format is going to be the same. What is going to be changed is the type of question and the structure of question and the, you can say, the methodology of that question to deal with. Okay, now let's have a quick understanding on what is a map question and how do we usually encounter and how we are going to solve this kind of a question. Basically these are the things that I'll be dealing today. Okay, Now, so map question require you to compare and describe the changes between two or more maps. Okay. So, by the first line, you've got an idea that how it is going to be. So, basically what happens is you are going to get two maps. Okay, left one and right one. Basically, they are there to compare and contrast and tell what are the changes you are going to encounter or what are the changes it has been for a particular period of time. Okay. Now, these maps may depict the same location at different time. This is what I said just right now. Okay, these maps usually depict different kind of changes over the period of time. Okay, for example, if left side of the map is telling you something about 1947, 1980 or whatever, the right side of the map will be telling you the changes that has been made for the 10-year gap or a 5-year gap or a 2-year gap or whatever it is. Okay. Now, showing how the area has developed or changed. Your task is to describe these changes, noting specific or significant alterations. Okay. So, basically your task is to tell the difference between the two maps by making sure that you mark the exact difference between both of them, and also you can tell what are the changes or what are the important changes that has been occurred over this period of time. Okay. Now, such as the construction of building, the addition or removal of roads, changes in land use or the expansion or reduction of the certain areas. Okay. So, yes, this is all about what map is and how usually the map question comes in writing task 1 IELTS. Okay. If you've got it, please let me know that you've got it. Please comment down on the comment section so that I can get it that you've understood. Okay. Now, done. Any doubt? Please let me know. Any question? Please let me know. Now, fine, fair enough. Now, let's understand the key pointers on how we are going to address this kind of a question in order to solve it. Okay? Got it? Very good. Amazing. So, now let's talk about overview of the changes. So, first of all, you need to be very sure because I'll be showing one example to you guys as well. Now, first of all, what you need to understand is you need to be very particular on the changes that are there on the map. I told you map is going to be divided into two parts. Okay, there is going to be left side of the screen where you are going to see the map where it was like for a particular time period. A point of time will be mentioned, and also on the right side of the map a particular point of time will be mentioned. So, you need to talk about the changes and the overview of the changes so far. Highlight general trends such as urbanization, industrial development or expansion of infrastructure. So, these are the pointers that you have to mention. Now, let's talk about comparison and description. Okay. So, use a language to indicate changes. For example, was replaced, has been converted to. Okay. Now, the expanded, was demolished, was converted into. Okay. So, these are the words. Always remember you have good synonyms with you. You should be having good amount of synonyms with you so that you never lack vocabulary. Now here, as I told you, if you remember in the cyclic kind of a question yesterday that I took the session, in that session I told you that over in cyclic type of question, you don't need to use a lot of vocabulary. You don't need to add on your own vocabulary in order to write up the answer, because most of the time you are going to get vocabulary in the question itself. So, you have to take those words and you have to use them in your writing up response, right? But over here it is the question dealing entirely the comparison and description. So, you have to be well versed with the words or the vocabulary that is telling about the comparison, or you have to be well versed with the word that is going to talk about the comparison. Okay. Now, mention if certain feature remains same or a new feature has been introduced. Okay. So, you have to take care of these kind of words on your own. Okay. Now, Let's talk about structure for a map question. As the structure, I told you, the structure never changes. It remains the same all the time. Okay. So the kind of format that I told you, the kind of structuring that I told you, which is going to be IOB format, it is going to be same for the entire writing task 1. Okay. It's just that how you are presenting it, again, the clarity is the major concern that you need to take care of. Okay. Now, so let's talk about introduction, paraphrase the question and briefly introduce the map. Okay. So there are going to be time where there is going to be the name of the city. Okay. Name of the city is going to be there, or there are going to be times where name of the map is going to be there. So if it is mentioned over there in the question, fair enough, you can mention it in your answer as well. Okay. For example, the maps illustrate the development of a small coastal town between 1990 and 2020. I told you, because there are going to be 2 time zones that are going to be mentioned over there in the map. Now, done with the introduction, now let's talk about overview. As usual, nothing's gonna change. Similarly, you have to write the overview that you have been writing so far in all kind of questions. Okay. Provide a summary of the main changes observed. For example, overall the town has undergone significant urbanization with the introduction of residential areas and tourist facilities replacing once rural landscape. Okay. Now, here you can see the entire overall, again I am telling it to you, overall should be the gist of what you can see in the diagram and should not include any detailings. Should not include any detailings of the diagram, any detailings of the body. It should not include anything. It should be only and only confined to what you can see overall in the diagram. There are major changes, you are going to mention that. If there are no changes, you don't write about it. Just mention them in the body. Okay. Now, detailed comparison, definitely this is concerned with the body. Okay. Describe the changes in detail, moving logically from one area to another. Okay. In the northwest corner, the farmland present in 1990 has been completely replaced by larger residential neighborhood. Additionally, a new road network has been constructed to accommodate the increased population. Okay. I know you might not be able to understand as of now because the map is not mentioned. Okay. But don't worry, I'll be telling you each and everything with a proper example. Acha, one thing I forgot to tell you over here. Now, just have a quick look at the question. Okay. You can see here the map is here. Okay. So basically 1995 you can see over here. 1995 and present. Now this present means the present year that is going on, which is going to be 2024. Okay. If no year is mentioned and it's written present, it means you have to write the present year that is going. So that's a normal common sense. Anyways. So yes, one thing I would like to tell you is direction is very important. Whenever you are going to encounter map question, make sure if the direction is already, so majority of time you are going to get the direction in the map itself. Now let's understand what will happen if the map is not given. Don't worry, if the map is not given, you can mark one or you can make one of yours. Let's understand what is the purpose of making a direction like this. So basically what happens, when I say IELTS writing task 1, I always use this word clarity, right? So whenever you're going to give a response on a certain question, you have to be very sure. Hello Laksh, how are you? I hope you're doing great. Okay, so I was saying that whenever you are going to present a question in a certain manner, you need to bring that clarity up. Okay. Now, what will happen? This direction will help you in order to guide on how to write a particular thing. For example, let's say, sorry ma'am, I'm very late. It's okay, fine, no worries. That's great that you are here. Okay. So I was saying that whenever you are writing an answer, okay, so direction will help you in order to locate that particular location, okay, locate that particular change or locate that particular comparison that you are trying to build up in your answer. Because definitely the diagram report writing is something that you are presenting a diagram, and it should be in such a manner that even if the diagram is not there, after reading the report, it becomes very clear and understandable that what you are actually talking about. Okay. Very good evening, ma'am. I'm sorry I'm late for the class. That's okay, Sayash. That's totally fine. It's okay. I'm glad that you are here. Okay. Now, so listen to me carefully. So, here is the map. Now, first, just have a quick look at the question. Okay. Should spend about 20 minutes on this task. Again, always and always focus on this word. Should. Should spend. It's not must spend. So, even if you are planning to spend like good 20 minutes in your writing task 1, or it can be 30 minutes, totally your take. You will get 1 hour in order to attempt writing task. The entire writing task covering all the questions, be it writing task 1, be it writing task 2. You are getting good 60 minutes for the same. So, use that precisely, and you are the one who's going to take control on the time management. So, it's not only about 20 minutes, you can do it in 15 minutes as well, you can do it in 30 minutes as well. So, you have to allocate the time precisely and properly and wisely as well. Okay. Now, the map below shows the development of the village of 𝐒𝐂𝐻 between 1995 and present. So, it shows the development of the village of 𝐒𝐂𝐻. So, 𝐒𝐂𝐻 might be the name of the city or the name of the place. Okay. Between 1995 and present, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparison where relevant. So, this is, write at least 150 words. This is very common, right? You've got the question. Now, just have a quick look at the map. Okay. So, what you have, I have already told you, it's been bifurcated into 2. You have to compare and contrast. How you're going to be doing it? First, see what are the things that are there. So, we have this housing over here. We have the housing over here. So, what we can see is there is a major change over here. Here, 2 houses have been increased over here. Okay. Okay. Now, so here we have farm roll, farmland to which it has been converted into golf course, to which we have this tennis place as well, which was a forest park before. Also, the shop is being converted into restaurant. The hotel has become hotel with a car park. And also, we have fish market, to which it has been converted to apartments. And a cafe is there, fair enough, it's as it is. And then we have the sea over here, to which the sea is here as well. And it is being converted into the listing port, something like that. Okay. Here we have an additional apartment or an additional building or an additional location that is being located over here. Okay. Now, so this is what you have read the map properly. You can mark it according to your, comfort and according to your, preciseness and understanding. Again and again, I say that if the question is not according to you, definitely it is not going to be. Make it according to you. Mark it in such a manner that it becomes understandable to you only, right? So, you don't have to give the booklet. If all the guys who are preparing for PPT, you don't have to give the booklet just like that. Don't need to be very clean on the booklet. Don't need to be very decorative on that. So, if you can mark something, if you can mark your responses, if you can mark your diagram, please do mark it. It will bring a sense of clarity in you at the time of writing response. Okay. So, now, done with the map. Now, let's understand how the response has been given. Okay. Now, here is the response. Let's have a quick look at it. The figure illustrates the developments. The figure illustrates the development that has taken place in the village named 𝐒𝐂𝐻 between 1995 and the present. Okay. This is what it is. Now, overall noticeable changes can be observed in the north as well as in south of the village. Now, this is something I'll appreciate because the candidate has actually used the direction in order to come up with the clarity of the answer. Okay. This is the reason I said directions are important, because in this way we will be able to have that pictorial representation in our mind. Okay, so the north, south, east, west, southwest, northeast. So these are the directions that will help us to locate and have a pictorial representation in our mind, right? So it's going to be very helpful. Now, so in the top right side, the farmland was situated along with the forest park just below it. Okay, fine, fair enough. In 1995, now it is used as the golf court and the tennis court, covering less space comparatively. Fine, fair enough. Previously, there were 12 houses in the northwest direction of the village. At present, there are 16 of them. Along with it, a lane towards left which leads to the houses. Fair enough. Furthermore, now here is a good usage of connector and a cohesive device is being used, which is something I'm going to appreciate. Now, there are drastic changes which is being done. Okay. The shops in the bottom left side in 1995 is replaced with restaurants now. Okay. Likewise, apartments are present in the place of fish market. Since the fish market is no more present in the village, so now there is no fishing port as well. Now, this seems a bit elaborated, which seems like a little bit irrelevant, which was not needed. I know one thing, if you have already mentioned that it has been replaced by a certain thing, so then just leave it. Don't try to repeat it, because when you try to explain things over, when you over explain things, when you over mention things, then it starts becoming irrelevant content and it will just unnecessarily consumes your word limit, okay, to which you can fairly use them to add on to increase your word limit and mention the relevant information that is required, okay. So try not to elaborate on it much. Now, the hotel which was present in southeast is still located in the same place, is still located at the same area, but with a different infrastructure. Next to a hotel, car parking is also available now, which was not there in the year 1995. One important thing is that the area covering the sea at the bottom of the village and location of cafe is still the same. This is all the entire answer. Now, I want to say one thing over here is, no doubt the candidate has started it from the top to bottom, okay. That was a clear picture that I can see over here, that the candidate has started it from the very top of the map to the end of the map, okay, to the bottom of the map, right. That is a good thing. But initially the direction were mentioned, to which it started, disappearing after certain period of time, and then it started giving an obscure idea about the map, which was something I would like to say to need to work on the cohesive part or the coherence part, which means no doubt the entire information is mentioned, which is a very good thing that I can see over here. But yes, at the same time, the connection or the transition of the idea, for example, if let's suppose here is no diagram, right? Even after reading to this response, in the starting of the paragraph, I was able to imagine a good map over there, but later on in the second paragraph, it started becoming a bit unclear and confusing in nature, to which you need to make sure that you start from that and you end it on a clean side and you end it on a clear way, portraying a clear picture of the map. Got it? Now, let's see what are the areas of improvement that we can have. So, let's talk about task achievement first. Okay. So, now, the description of the changes such as different infrastructure of the hotel is vague. The student should describe what exactly has changed. For example, size, design or additional facility. I told you it was in the second paragraph. The infrastructure is changed, but it can be seen on the map, right? But you have to be a bit more precise on the delivering of the data, or bit more precise, because the map is all that you are dealing with. Okay, and when you are describing it, describe it in detail. Got it? So, it will give a clear idea of what has changed. Is it the design that has been bothered? Is it the size that has been changed? Is it the area covered that has been changed? What exactly was the change in that particular infrastructure, to be more precise when you are dealing with the body of the paragraph or the answer, right? Now, there is an inaccurate statement. The area covering the sea at bottom of the village and location of the cafe is still the same. While the sea's location is unchanged, the statement about cafe might need clarification as it implies a change or lack of change without clear distinction. Okay, so if you want to tell something that has not changed, so now one more thing I would like to tell you, if you are starting from the starting year, like there are two years mentioned, like one is starting year and one is the present year, right? So if in the entire answer you are going from here to here, then make sure in the starting to the end of the answer, you go from here, from the starting year to the present year. The comparison should be lenient, the comparison should be in a order, so that it is understandable, the transition is understandable, and it can be tracked. Okay, the algorithm should not be disrupted. At the same time, if somehow you went from here to here, then it will be a bit confusing and it will be a bit obscure in when it comes to the understanding and portraying of the idea. Got it? Fine. So now let's have a quick look at the next one. Okay, area of improvement using of linking devices. Although linking words are present, I told you it is present, that's a very good thing. Okay, Mitesh, hello Mitesh, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. Okay, great, you guys are enjoying, right? Okay, fair enough. The usage could be more varied and precise. For example, furthermore is used correctly, but the phrase one important thing is that is somewhat informal and could be replaced with more academic connector like notably. Okay, so the fact that I'm trying to tell you is, no doubt, again I told you that in speaking also I told you, in writing also I'm telling you, you don't have to become way too informal and you don't have to become way too formal. Okay, so it is like you are writing a report. Make sure you have the decency at the time of writing. Okay, no doubt it is not wrong as well. One important thing is that not wrong, but yes, at the time of reading, it is some or the other way not having that coherence that it needs to be. While notably is a word that it can be better replace that this kind of particular line. And also because you have a word limit, okay, you have a word limit of 150 words. Make sure you should not elaborate it more than 200. Even if you are elaborating it, the minimum word limit that is required is 150. Got it? And if you are even trying to elaborate it to 200, make sure you do not extend more than that. Okay, because already, and yes, again I'm saying, revise your responses. There were a lot of spelling errors as well over here in this answer that could have been eradicated or rectified if the response would have been revised, but it was not revised. Again and again I say, make sure you revise the response. I joined late. Can you tell me what is the topic? Okay, so the topic is I'm dealing with writing task 1 IELTS map question. So yes, I am evaluating it and I'm talking about the areas of improvement. So if you have joined late, no worries, you can re-watch this session as the session is there on YouTube. So don't worry, and you can also refer to the previous sessions as well, just to have a clarity on the same. Okay, now, so the explanation of changes is sometimes unclear due to vague language, which can hinder the flow of information. For instance, the area covering the sea at the bottom of the village is convoluted way to describe the unchanged coastline. Simplifying the language would improve the cohesion. Okay, so now the area covered at the bottom of the sea is actually something vague, which is not actually not actually portraying the real meaning of what the candidate needs to wants to say. Okay, now, so yes, let's move to the next one. Spelling errors, there are spelling mistakes such as restaurant instead of restaurant and apartments instead of apartments. I told you there were a lot of spelling mistakes. So these things are very silly in nature, honestly speaking. Guys, you should be aware of like the spelling of restaurant and apartments. Now don't take it otherwise. I'm just telling you because you guys are preparing for IELTS examination. Got it? So now you are making up a spelling mistake of restaurant and apartment. It's something that is, you need to improve on that. Now, so make sure you improve on the spellings which could have been improved if just you did the revision or you do the revision. right? So revision and evaluation, both of them will eventually help you in order to grow in your band score. But if you're not doing that, trust me, this is one of the biggest blunder you are doing at the time of writing up your response, right? So make sure you do it. At the same time, some word choices are awkward or incorrect, such as golf court instead of golf course. It is golf course. Now, there are certain words that are meant to be used like they are made, right? So you cannot change on that. It is like tennis court. It is not tennis. It will not be tennis course, right? So it is always golf course and not golf court. Okay. At the same time, drastic change which might be exaggerated in this contest. Okay. So there might be possibility they are not as major changes as it is being shown. But yes, it is like, just by writing the word drastic change, it is just exaggerating the content. Make sure you don't have to exaggerate the content, you have to elaborate on the same. There is a difference between exaggerating and elaborating and expanding as well. So all these three words are having different meaning. Okay, make sure you need to elaborate it, you don't need to exaggerate, and you don't have to expand on your answers, right? Now, words like comparatively should be comparatively need more correction. More precise and varied vocabulary could be used to describe the developments such as constructed, expanded, replaced, added, etc. Now, these are the very silly mistakes, honestly speaking. Okay, again I'm saying, make sure you revise your response after writing. Take, allocate your time in such a manner you're getting 60 minutes, right? In that 60 minutes, let's suppose you're allocating 20 minutes for writing task 1 and then you're allocating 40 minutes for writing task 2. Right? So in that 20 minutes, you can allocate your time in such a manner that you can keep like good 5 minutes for your revision, evaluation, planning of your response, planning up your question, marking. I know this is a lot of work, but yes, at the same time, you have to look upon to the time management as well, right? So you have to allocate your time in such a manner that you can revise as well. But okay, even if you're not, you can compromise on certain part. You can plan your answer, you can plan in a very rough way, no doubt on that part, but you cannot compromise on the revision portion or evaluation portion. At least look upon to the topics that you might end up making mistake. Right? So if you know that I am bad at these topics, on these grammatical topics, and I usually make mistakes on that, at least keep a check on them. If you know that your spellings are wrong, you make spelling mistakes intentionally or unintentionally, at least be very aware of it. Okay, at least revise that as well. Got it? Sentence structure. Some sentence structure are fragmented or awkward, such as furthermore, there are drastic changes which is being done. They should be revised to furthermore, drastic changes have been made. It's not done, it's been made. Errors like there is 16 of them should be there are 16 of them. Tense consistency, the student switches between past and present tenses in a confusing manner. For example, the farmland was situated, now it is used, could be revised for better consistency. When you see the year, the years are mentioned for that as well. When you see the years, you have to decide the tense. On which tense you have to come up with the response. Got it? If it is 1958, 1968, you know it is going to be the data, whatever the data that year contains, it has to be in past tense. To which it is written present. Then the data has to be in present tense. Now what the changes are. Now how the city looks like. Now how the village is looking like. Okay, so tenses, if you want to identify what kind of tense you need to put on, you've got to see the years. The years, this is what I say, this is what I mean when I say planning of the answer. What do you plan then? You plan this only, like the moment you see the year, you know what are the tenses you're going to be using, what are the words you're going to use, what are the topic specific vocab you should be using at the time of comparing and contrasting the data at the which is given. Got it? So now let's have a quick 2-minute summary and understand what are the things we have learned today. First of all, read and mark the diagram. What are you going to mark? changes that are done on maps. Okay, here you are going to see. Okay, what else you are going to see? Take special care of the direction. Usually they come in the question, usually they come like, you know, pre-mentioned in the question. If it is not mentioned, mark one. Make one direction, like, you know, that direction of yours. What's next? Use comparative vocabulary for better understanding. Better understanding as well as better comparison. You know, it will be easier for you to compare then. Got it? What's next? Make sure you revise the response for spelling and tenses errors. Ma'am, first line फिर से repeat कर देंगी. First line, you mean this? Read and mark the diagram. This is what you want me to repeat? So the first one is read and mark the diagram properly. Look upon to the map changes. What are the changes have been done in the map? Also take special care of the direction. If there is no any direction mentioned, mark your own. It will be very helpful to you. Use comparative vocabulary for better understanding and better comparison. So you know that in map, it is all the game of comparison only. If you fail to compare in map, then definitely you will not be able to get the band that you are desiring for or aiming for, because there is a lack of understanding and lack of coherence, right? So you need to be very precise in that. Also revise your response for spelling and tenses error. Now the revise thing is something that I have been telling you since like for a longer period of time, and it's been so much time that I told you that revise your response so that you don't end up making major mistakes, and minor ones you can correct or rectify on your own. Okay, so yes, you can take a screenshot if you want. Rest the session is going to be there, so no worries on that part. Yes, that's all. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for watching, and I hope this is going to help you, and I hope you guys are practicing and preparing. Keep on preparing, keep on practicing, and all the very best to the students who are going to appear for your IELTS examination. Okay, then bye-bye. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.